Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so if you're in management, you probably spend a lot of time on, well, reports, feedback sessions, promotions, that kind of thing.
The usual stuff, right? Meetings, emails.
Exactly. But here's the big question we're tackling today. Is that really the job? Or is it just, the visible activity that maybe distracts from the real mission?
That's the core of it. We tend to define the role by those surface-level actions.
Right, like saying a footballer's job is just passing and shooting, but their job is to win. So what's the manager's real job, their win condition?
Well, fundamentally, it's not about your personal productivity. It's about creating superior results through other people. That's the key distinction.
Okay, getting results through others. But many managers seem to fall into that activity trap you mentioned.
They absolutely do. And that's our mission today. We want to unpack what we're calling the invisible links of management. These are like 3 hidden levers.
Hidden levers. Okay.
Yeah, and they seem to be what really separates the truly high-performing teams from, well, just groups of individuals who happen to work together.
So we're diving deep into this invisible architecture, the stuff behind the scenes that makes the team actually click.
Precisely. Because the goal isn't just for you, the manager, to get better at ticking boxes. It's about multiplying the whole team's ability to deliver.
Right, multiplication, not just addition.
Exactly. And what's really interesting here, it starts by facing this kind of paradox, the paradox of talent.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we've all seen it, haven't we? You get a team stacked with all-stars, super expensive, talented individuals, and sometimes they just lose, badly, to a team nobody's heard of.
Yeah, that happens all the time in sports and business, too.
And the flip side is also true. You see these, perfectly normal teams, average performers maybe, then a new leader comes in and suddenly, bang, they're achieving amazing things. Why?
I guess the easy answer is motivation, or maybe better training.
That's what people often assume. But if it's not about the raw skill, if the individuals are already good, then the issue must be deeper, right? It's got to be structural.
Okay, structural. So the manager's focusing on the wrong things.
Often, yes. They default to optimizing the visible stuff we talked about, the reports, the schedules, individual KPIs. But they're neglecting the structure underneath.
The invisible architecture.
Right. The elements nobody really sees until the results come in either great results or total failure.
And these are the 3 invisible links we need to understand.
Yes. Let's name them clearly. First, shared purpose. That's the collective why. Everyone pulling in the same direction, truly believing in it.
Okay, shared purpose. Got it.
Second, suitable people. This is the who. Getting the right individuals in the right roles at the right time, matched not just by skill, but by fit and motivation.
Suitable people. Makes sense.
And third, coordination process. This is the how. The actual mechanics of how the team works together, collaborates, makes decisions.
Purpose, people, process. Why, who, how.
Exactly. And the fatal flaw many managers make, especially those who focus only on visible activity, is they polish the surface. They make sure the reports look great, the meetings run on time.
But they ignore the engine room.
Precisely. They're neglecting the underlying architecture that actually determines if the team can perform. It's like polishing the brass on the Titanic,
Yeah.
You can't win just by having the shiniest uniforms.
Okay, conceptually that lands. But let's make it more concrete. How does neglecting these links actually hurt performance day to day? The lemonade stand example you mentioned.
Ah, yes, the lemonade stand paradox. It's a great illustration. Imagine you start a lemonade stand. Just you. You're super fast, efficient, making good money.
Okay, simple enough.
But you want to grow. So you hire, let's say, Henry and Eliza. The moment they join, what was a simple task suddenly becomes complex.
Right, because now you have to coordinate.
Instantly. The expectation might be, great, 3 people, 3 times the lemonade. But it really works like that, does it?
No, I can see that. Suddenly it's who talks to the customer, who handles the money, who's squeezing lemons.
Exactly. And what happens if you run out of lemons? Who decides who runs to the store? Who covers the stand? If that why, who, how isn't clear, chaos.
So this simple task gets tangled up.
Completely tangled.
Right.
And that's the paradox. Adding people doesn't automatically add productivity. It just adds interaction. And if those interactions aren't managed well through good architecture,
You got friction, a hidden cost.
a hidden tax, absolutely. The tax of collaboration. This reminds me of J. Richard Hackman's work. He studied teams for years.
What did he find?
He observed that even teams with plenty of resources, money, time, smart people, still massively underperform. Why? because the energy lost to coordination conflict.
Just cancels out the benefits of having more people.
Pretty much, it cancels out the benefits of collaboration. The two members end up sort of neutralizing each other's talents because the how is broken.
So the old saying, the more the merrier, can actually mean the more the slower.
Unless those invisible links, the purpose, people, process are really strong. Otherwise, yeah, the more the slower is often the reality.
Which leads us nicely into this idea of the measurement trap. We measure the wrong things.
We really do. In many places, people get rewarded for being busy. How many meetings did you attend? How many tasks are on your list? How many emails sent?
Activity metrics, not results.
Right. And Andy Grove, the Intel pioneer, he was famously tough on this. He insisted that evaluation must be based on the outcome, the result, not just the activity.
So how should a manager think about measuring their own impact then, if it's not about their personal task list?
You measure the quality of the team's output. Is the design team producing solutions that genuinely solve problems, that make users say, wow?
Or the teaching team example.
Yeah, is the teaching team actually preparing students better for their future, not just grading papers efficiently? The real metric is the sharpness, the quality, the impact of the collective result.
And that sharpness comes directly from having a healthy and visible architecture.
That's the connection. A strong architecture enables a sharp result. Weak architecture leads to dull, mediocre outcomes, no matter how busy everyone looks.
Okay, this makes sense. Let's dig into that architecture itself then. Segment 3, purpose, people, process. Why is getting these wrong so damaging? Let's start with purpose, the why.
Right, the why. And this isn't just about having some generic mission statement on the wall. It's about whether people deeply see and believe in the shared goal.
So misalignment here is a big problem.
Huge. Let's go back to the lemonade stand. Imagine the owner's dream is to build a huge chain, scale rapidly. But Henry, maybe he just loves the idea of a fun neighborhood stand interacting with locals.
So their fundamental whys are different.
Completely different. And that conflict probably won't be a big shouting match. It'll be subtle.
How does it show up? Like passive resistance?
Exactly. Or maybe just a lack of proactive energy. Foot dragging on initiatives related to scaling. Henry might look busy making lemonade, but every small decision he makes subtly pulls away from the owner's grand vision.
That sounds incredibly frustrating and hard to spot.
It's corrosive because it's often quiet. Okay, next, people, the who. This is more than just checking if someone has the right skills on their resume.
Right, it's about fit.
It's about overall suitability. Skills, yes, but also motivation, personality, how they interact with the team. And crucially, do they believe they can actually succeed in the specific role you're giving them?
That puts a lot of pressure on the manager to make good judgment calls, and sometimes tough calls.
Very tough. It's hard to move someone who's maybe a great person, well-liked, but just fundamentally the wrong fit for a critical role.
But if you don't...
If you put the wrong person in a key spot, it's like putting sand in the gears. Every single process that relies on that role starts to jam.
Like putting Henry, who's great with customers, in charge of inventory if he hates details.
Perfect example. You're not just making Henry miserable. You're creating a bottleneck for the entire team.
Yeah.
You're essentially penalizing everyone because the who piece of the architecture is wrong.
Okay, purpose people. Now, process the how. You said it's not just paperwork. It's the rhythm of cooperation. What does that mean in practice?
It means designing how work actually flows between people to minimize friction. How does the team make decisions? Is it clear? How are tasks handed off from, say, Henry to Eliza? How is feedback given? Is it constructive and regular?
And importantly, how does the team learn?
Yes. How does the group learn from mistakes or successes? When the rhythm is right, things just seem to flow. Information moves smoothly, decisions get made, work gets done without constant bumps and crises.
And when it's wrong?
Constant stumbling, dropped balls,
Yeah.
people relying on heroic individual efforts just to keep things afloat, fixing the same predictable problems over and over because the process itself is flawed.
Right. Now, this all sounds great, building this robust architecture, but let's be real. Many managers feel like they're constantly putting out fires, survival mode.
Absolutely. Cash flow problems, urgent deadlines, crises.
Yeah. How do you find the bandwidth to step back and invest in these invisible systems when you're just trying to sell enough lemonade to stay open today?
That's a critical point, and the sources acknowledge this tension. You absolutely have to address the immediate suffocation first. Stabilize the crisis, stop the bleeding. You can't architect a new house while the current one is burning down around you.
So survival first.
Survival first. However, the trap is staying in survival mode forever. The really effective manager stabilizes just enough to create a small window, a bit of breathing room.
To invest in the system?
Yes. To build the process or clarify the purpose or adjust the roles in a way that prevents the next fire or at least makes it smaller. If you stay 100% reactive, 100% in survival mode, you never actually escape the cycle.
You're just running on a hamster wheel of crises.
Precisely. Which brings us to maybe the biggest mindset shift required. Adopting what we call the multiplier mindset.
Okay, the multiplier mindset.
That-
How is it different from just being a good, high-performing individual?
It's fundamentally different. Think about it. The excellent individual contributor, maybe they sell 80 cups of lemonade a day by themselves. They add their own muscle, their own effort.
Right, individual output.
The good manager, though, operates differently. Their focus isn't their 80 cups. Their focus is on enabling Henry and Eliza to collectively sell more. Maybe they teach them a technique that adds 1 extra cup per hour each.
Or they design the workflow better.
Exactly. Or they design the roles and processes so well that when they hire a new person, Toby, he can immediately be effective and sell, say, 30 cups an hour instead of struggling for weeks.
So the manager isn't just adding your capacity, they're multiplying the team's capacity.
That's the core idea. They build the systems, the clarity, the skills in others.
Yeah.
Their job is to make the collective greater than the sum of its parts. They elevate everyone else.
It's a shift from doing to enabling.
Perfectly put. And while we're clarifying things, maybe we should briefly touch on leadership versus management. People often use those terms interchangeably.
Yeah, good point. What's the difference in this context?
Management is generally tied to the role you have, direct reports, a budget, defined responsibilities within the structure. Leadership is more about the quality of influence.
Influence. How so?
It's the ability to affect change, to inspire people towards that shared purpose, to improve the process, or to advocate for the right people, regardless of your official title.
So you can be a leader without being a manager.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can influence the why, who, how from anywhere in the organization. But, and this is key, it's very hard to be a truly effective manager without also exercising leadership. You need that influence.
Got it. Okay, so wrapping this all together, what does this mean practically for you, the listener, maybe feeling overwhelmed by the visible parts of management right now? We've boiled it down to 5 key actions.
Right, 5 steps to start focusing on the invisible architecture, really managing yourself first to enable the team. Number 1, redefine your job. Seriously, rethink what your core function is.
Not just doing tasks.
Not just doing tasks. If you are the bottleneck, if the team grinds to a halt when you're out of office, your job definition is wrong. Your primary role is to enable others to work effectively together.
Which means actively delegating, empowering.
And focusing your energy on designing the system they work within. Counterintuitively, the busier you are with individual tasks, the weaker your team's overall capacity probably is.
Ouch, that's a tough one for high achievers. Okay, second takeaway.
Second, maintain the goal compass. You need relentless focus here. Every single decision you make, every meeting you schedule, every action you take, ask yourself, does this actually move us closer to our shared purpose?
And if it doesn't?
Cut it. Seriously.
Yeah.
Be ruthless about eliminating activities that are just tradition, bureaucracy, or busy work that doesn't serve the core goal.
Discipline. Okay, number 3.
Third, build the right people roles. This means being kind, always, but also decisive. Actively recruit, assign roles based on strengths and fit, coach your people.
And the hard part.
And yes, sometimes making the difficult call to part ways with someone who, despite being a good person, is simply a mismatch for the team's needs or the specific role required by the architecture. Design the roles first, then find the people.
Right. 4th key action.
Fourth, design the work rhythm. Get intentional about how work gets done. Stop relying on ad hoc chaos. Implement reliable structures.
Like what kinds of structures?
Things like short, focused daily check-ins that always end with clarity. Who does what by when? Implement regular one-on-ones that are genuinely focused on the individual's growth and challenges, not just status updates. Formalize feedback loops. Create rituals for learning from mistakes without blame.
Reducing that friction we talked about.
Exactly, making cooperation smoother, more predictable. And finally, number 5.
5th, choose the right posture. You need to be conscious about which mode you're operating in. Are you in crisis survival mode right now?
Where speed, triage, and immediate action are paramount.
Or are you in development mode?
Where you have the space to invest in those longer-term systems, processes, and people development. Recognizing which mode is appropriate and actively trying to shift towards development mode whenever possible is crucial.
Because if you never shift, you're stuck fighting fires forever.
You condemn yourself and your team to perpetual firefighting.
So ultimately, it comes down to a really personal question for anyone in management, doesn't it?
It really does. Ask yourself, do you truly love the result, the team winning, achieving the shared purpose? Or do you just love the feeling of being busy, being in charge, the status?
Why is that distinction so important?
Because if you genuinely love the result, you'll be motivated to learn and do whatever it takes to achieve it. Even the less glamorous and visible work of building the architecture, enabling others. If you just love the role, you might stay stuck polishing the surface.
That's a powerful reflection. It reminds me of the final thought from our sources about impact.
Ah, yes. The excellent individual contributor. They create a single bright spot. Impressive, but maybe temporary.
But the awakened manager.
The manager who masters these invisible links. They don't just create a spot. They create a whole constellation of stars. They build sustainable collective capability.
So the question to ask yourself at the end of the day shouldn't be, how much did I get done?
No. Start asking, how much capability did I multiply today?
That's the challenge.
And here's a concrete action for you listening. This week, just pick one of those invisible links. Maybe it's clarifying the goal, purpose, for a specific project. Maybe it's thinking about people alignment in one key role. Or maybe it's improving one small part of your team's process, rhythm.
Just one small step.
One step. Clarify it. Try implementing a small change. Observe or measure the effect and learn from it. Start building that stronger architecture, one link at a time.
And if this conversation sparked something for you, consider sharing this deep dive. Maybe with a colleague who's struggling with the daily grind of management or someone just stepping into that kind of role.
Because sometimes, clarifying just one small invisible link today can genuinely change the entire trajectory of a team tomorrow.